discouraged by keeping a shutout or by failing to score,
dropping
or
2
discouraged
points,
or dropping by 2 points and being.
Yeah. You know me, I'm kind of a hate to lose type of guy. You know, I thought maybe Christian had another little bit of magic there at the end with his header. I liked that part of it because he went up with no hesitation. You know, the header at the end that the goalkeeper makes a good save. You know, I think we put them under pressure in the second half, Jeremiah, but yeah, it doesn't really do us any good. I mean, we needed the 3 points. So, you know, I mean, yeah, Steph's 13 shutouts. Alex was prepping me. I mean, it ties his single-season record from 2017. Steph is going to tell you that it's a team sport, and he has a lot of help, which I agree with. I think the defense was good again today. So those are some positives, but it, again, feels like a couple of points that, you know, we might need down the stretch.
All right, we'll come back to the front row here to Maz.
Okay, I'm just trying to go on the process, but you shut out White. I mean, 0 shots on goal. What was it about? Because all this week you talked about closing out and stopping the opposition from that space. What were you guys able to today, and what critical part did Josh and Township play in that?
Well, I think Josh and JP did a good job, along with, you know, Jackson and Yaimar. Brian White's a really talented player, and their long balls and then picking up second balls, that's, you know, where Vancouver has a lot of success, because Ryan Gould's movement off of Brian White is really good. You know, they have counter movements. Gould always seems to pick the ball up in, you know, certain moments. So credit to Josh, credit to JP, Yaimar, and Jackson. It was a battle. You know, but again, you know, it takes a full team. I thought Jordan's pressure higher up the field was good tonight. You know, Christian getting through another 90 minutes. His effort and application. I thought we were able to put pressure up here fairly well to prevent some of those passes.
All right, we'll go to John next. Middle row there, yeah.
Brian, this year's home record for goals was an average of 1 goal per game, which is the lowest in the club's MLS era. I'm wondering, as you look towards the playoffs and potentially having home field games in the playoffs, what needs to change to make the attack more effective?
Well, I mean, not having Raul for large parts of the year certainly hurts. Not having Christian for large parts of the year certainly hurts. I thought Hebert has actually showed a bit of form recently, so I'm happy about that. Jordan obviously playing as a 9 versus playing out on the wing. You know, that's something we need to revisit maybe. But, you know, I think it all comes down to guys executing. And, you know, sometimes you got to give credit to your opponent. I thought Vancouver played a strong game defensively, and their goalkeeper was on form, saved him a couple times. The other thing that we're going to start working on is, again, I think we've been pretty good in this stat, but set pieces in playoff games when games are tight, you know, maybe we need to throw a few more wrinkles there, just make sure we're getting some good chances from that part of the game. And then just, you know, just believing we can score. You know, that's part of it. I thought after, you know, Wednesday's game, there was a belief that, you know, the team had a good performance. We scored late, but it was a goal and put us through into the playoffs and 3 points. And to be fair to them, they played with belief that they could win the game, but, you know, we just couldn't get it done.
Nico.
Could you talk about the team's performance in Cascadia this season and how it may differ from other games?
Well, off the top of my head, I don't know our Cascadia results. I don't know if you can remind me.
1-1-1 against Vancouver, and against Portland was 1 draw, no 2 draws, 1 loss.
So not good enough to bring the Cascadia Cup home, so that's number one. And, those games are certainly important for the club. The traditions that we have, Cascadia Cup, that runs back a really long time, and it's an important trophy for the supporters. So, that's obviously a disappointment. I know we've had our fair share of, Cascadia Cups, but again, we just didn't get it done this year.
All right, reminder for those on Zoom, if you have a question, please go ahead and hit that raise hand function button. For now, we'll come around right here.
I noticed there was a point where the defense in the 63rd minute, I believe it was, let a Whitecap player into a hole, and he kicked it and went off the post, but it was the same hole that existed in the LA Galaxy game that they scored a goal on. And I wonder if you've noticed that as some sort of nagging problem, or if you've addressed that at all.
No, we haven't addressed it. We'll address it on the film review. Yeah, Ryan Gall's a quality player. How that space correlates to any sort of trend or pattern, I don't know. I don't believe that's a trend.
We're good for follow-ups in here. Maz, starting with you here in the front row.
Hey, Brian, just going back, revisiting the offensive, what you need to do there. You said you have the belief that the players want to score. Is that the belief that to make the run into the box, or are you getting that? Because I would assume.
I think we're getting numbers in the box, Maz. I mean, again, we'll review the film, but from what I remember, look, let's start in the first half. I mean, Leo Chu early on gets around the corner, and he's, dribbling at the goal, and, Jordan's movement, he's in the box, but maybe Jordan needs to check and fade off. Maybe there's another guy in the penalty spot. That's what I'd have to look for, because Chu's pretty darn fast, and, we got to catch up with him. Those are some of the things, certainly, that I know we work on in training. Christian, Alex on that side of the field, then the responsibility comes from Leo on that side, and Jordan, and again, Nico, where's he, where's Albert, top of the box. I think we've covered a lot of that.
Go to Jeremiah next.
Yeah, when Nico came out, it seemed like it was more than a acknowledgement of the cheers. It did seem like there was something there. Can you just speak to Nico's situation and sort of what, how this year has been for him?
Well, look, he's out of contract. That's a fact. Steph's out of contract. There's some players that are out of contract, and I don't know what the future holds for them. So I'm sure, Jeremiah, some of that emotion might be bleeding into, Nico has always worn his emotions on his sleeve. His father passed away, and the shoe phone. Tonight was an emotional night because it's the last game of the regular season. This much I can tell you about Nico Lodeiro. Whatever emotions he had, he's human. I understand all of those emotions. I get emotional sometimes. But come playoff time, he's going to be ready. He's going to be focused on the playoffs, and so is the team.
All right, we'll come back around here to Nico, and then if there's one or two more, we'll look to close things out.
So I've noticed that Nico and Albert have been alternating in the starting lineup. Could you talk about your decision to start Nico over Albert today versus Albert over Nico on Wednesday?
Yeah, we had a 3-game week, and I needed to rotate players. I mean, Albert maybe could have played a little bit more against Galaxy, but I just felt the game needed a little bit of change. But look, we need energy. We need fresh legs. And, if I look at it, maybe I could have changed a few more guys tonight, but, I think each week, each 3-game week is a little different, but it's rotation.
All right, last question. We'll go back on this side to John Marshall to take us home.
Somewhat speaking to the same page of rotation, Josh got the start tonight over Obed. One, how do you think Josh did there, and how is he different from what you expect or what you would get from Obed?
Well, they're pretty similar. They both have good range, good technical ability. Josh is a little bit better in the air. Obviously, he's a little taller. He's been working on that. Obed might be able to, wiggle out of a few more things. That's really tight. That's close. That's real competition. So how that progresses to St. Louis in the playoffs, we'll see.